MLB All-Time League is a who's who of generational talent. 400 of the greatest ball players to ever grace the field. However, things don't always go as planned. Baseball is a game of failure. You have to be willing to fall short at least 3 out of 10 times, and even at that clip, you're still one of the greats. This segment is dedicated to those that have left us wanting more, those that have thus far succumbed to their failures and are running the risk of tainting their legacies. Here is the top offensive bust from each team, 1/3 of the way into the season. Well, hello everyone, Preston Devine here, bringing you an MLB All-Time League early in the week video, just to satisfy us here while we wait for our matchups to come in via stream this weekend. Today we are going, as the intro video said, we are going to go over the biggest offensive busts so far for each team. Now, we know these are all legendary Hall of Famer players, either Hall of Famers or should be Hall of Famers, will be Hall of Famers, could be Hall of Famers. So really it just comes down to bad luck on the polls. But there are some interesting trends that we can go over and talk about and dissect a little bit here. So let's pull up the first team and our first underachieving player. And the team is the Tiger Lilies, and their underachiever is Harmon Killebrew. Harmon Killebrew for the Tiger Lilies. So Killebrew, interestingly, he was great last year. He was fantastic. He was 8th in the MVP rankings last season in this league. He led the league in home runs with 13 home runs, and he was second with in RBIs with 34. So Killebrew was amazing last year. He played for Max's team, the Picklesburg Baseball Club. He was amazing. But this year, starting off, not so hot. So let's look into it. He was drafted second round, fifth overall in the second round by the Tiger Lilies. Excuse me. Let's see. So far he has 39 at-bats. And I have some numbers here to extrapolate, taking the amount of at-bats he's had already. If you turn that into 162 games, and then based off of his 162 game average in his career, then we have a differential here. So I'll show you how it works. He has four runs so far. That extrapolates out to 56. He's on pace for 56 runs scored over 162 games. His career 162 is 85. So that is a differential of minus 29 right now in runs scored. Not very good. Minus 21, that's rough. I mean, a 56 run season that's like platoon player numbers. So let's look at hits. Hits actually not quite as bad for Killebrew. He has 9 so far. That goes out to 125 as compared to 139 average. That's a differential of minus 14. Actually, out of all 16 of the players we'll be looking at today, this is the least bad differential for hits. So he's getting hits. As far as walks, he has 11. Actually, the differential is plus 49 because he's on pace to get 153 over 162 game average. Plus 49. But interestingly enough, a lot of these players are exceeding their walk numbers, and some of them are even exceeding their home run numbers. But everything else is most everything else is deficient. So I'm not sure why that is. Why we've happened to pull more walks at a consistent clip, just super random so far as I can tell. I don't know why it would be a thing other than random. So he's doing good on drawing walks right now. As far as home runs, he has 3. That extrapolates out to 42. His 162 average over career was 38. So that's a differential of +4. So power pretty good. RBI, though, he is on pace for 83 as opposed to 105. That's a differential of -22 in RBI. Stolen bases, he has 0, differential of -1. He has 11 strikeouts on the year. That is 40 more, on pace for 40 more than he would typically average over 162 games. And the batting average, 131 as opposed to 156 career batting average. That's minus .025, which actually is that's the most tame difference of anyone in the league so far as well. So Killebrew not doing terrible, but we're talking about second round, early second round draft pick here, and definitely way behind in a couple of these categories. Runs scored, especially, hits is behind, batting average is behind, RBI. So that's Harmon Killebrew. Let's move on to the short porch boys and see who their underachiever is so far. It is Eddie Mathews. Now, Eddie Mathews is drafted in the 4th round, sixth player in the 4th round. So you might say, well, it's a 4th round draft pick. It's not like most of these guys on this list will be 1st or 2nd round. So you might think, oh, he shouldn't expect quite as much from Eddie Mathews. And certainly not, you don't expect as much as you would from a 1st round draft pick or a 2nd round draft pick. But Eddie Mathews is still, you look at his career numbers, he's incredible. I thought he was a steal in the 4th round. But interestingly enough, he was terrible last year in this league. He was on John's team, the Stony Jabronis. And he really struggled, so much so that John only played him 8 games. He ended up benching him. He had just 27 at-bats in the year where he batted .222 last year with just 1 home run and 2 RBIs all season from Eddie Mathews. This guy's career stats are really, really good. I mean, he's one of the better third basemen of all time for a reason. So you'd expect more. So let's see what he's doing so far this year. 4 runs scored. That comes out to 75. It's opposed to 102. That's a differential of -27 in runs scored. Hits 7. His differential is -26 in hits. Walks, he has 7. His differential is +33. So again, we have a positive walks number here. Home runs, just 1. It goes out, extrapolates up to 19 total. That's a differential of -16 in home runs. So he's really having power troubles. And RBI, just 2. So far, he's matched all of what he had last year in this league, 1 home run and 2 RBI. But that extrapolates out even worse, 37 total as opposed to 98, a differential of -61 in RBI. Stolen bases, he has 0. His 162 average is 5, so obviously it's -5 differential. Strikeouts, 8. That is 48 extra strikeouts compared to his 162 average. And then batting average, 226 compared to his 271 career average. That's a minus .045. So not very good from Eddie Mathews. This is supposed to be one of the, because if you think about it, he's the top 4 pick. If 1 or 2 of those guys are pitchers, we'll say 1. He's supposed to be a top 3 hitter on this team. A guy who's supposed to be a top 3 hitter, and he has just 1 home run, and he's batting .226. So when you put it that way, you can see why he would make this list of underachievers. So on the next team, formidable
Their underachiever is Mike Piazza. Mike Piazza was owned last year by the show. This year, my co-commissioner, and Piazza was amazing for Ben. He was absolutely amazing. Last year, he was 12th in the MVP rankings, but he batted. He was the best catcher in the league. He batted .392 last year. It was incredible. Let's see. He was a late second round draft pick this year, the 12th pick in the second round. I think that was a good pick to get such a good hitting catcher so early. As far as runs, he scored 3. His differential minus 52 in runs scored right now. Hits, he has 10. Differential minus 58. 4 walks this year. He is actually lacking in the walks. This is the one of only 3 players on this list who is negative in walks, the walks category as far as differential. And his is the worst, minus 15 in walks. Home runs, he has 0. 0 home runs so far from Mike Piazza. That is minus 36 differential. Just 3 RBIs. So the power numbers are not there. Minus 76 differential in RBI. No stolen bases, minus 1. Strikeouts, 3. So he's actually has the best differentials for strikeouts. He hasn't struck out much, which is a positive. His differential is 57 less strikeouts than he typically would have. So we'll take it. But batting average, look at the batting average. This is a guy who batted .392 in the league last year. 208 right now, compared to a fantastic 308 career batting average, which of course makes the differential .100, 100. Huge difference there. Huge difference in batting average. So Mike Piazza, is he going to figure it out? Hopefully. I mean, he's a lot more talented than what we've seen, clearly. As far as our next team, we have the Pine Tar Bandits, and their underachiever is Honus Wagner. This is the first round pick we're going over today. He was drafted 10th overall in this draft, Honus Wagner. And let's look at his numbers so far. 3 runs scored. That's a differential of minus 36. 7 hits. That's a differential of minus 47 because he accumulated a lot of hits in his career. 4 walks. That is a differential of plus 30. So he's doing well there. Home runs, 0. Differential of minus 6. 2 RBI, not very good. That's a minus 57 differential for Honus Wagner. 0 stolen bases. This is the most shocking part for Honus Wagner because his career 162 average was 42 stolen bases. And so, of course, the differential then would be minus 42 in stolen bases. Travis is not getting the stolen bases from Honus Wagner that you would expect from him. Just 1 strikeout for him on the year, so that's actually very good. It's a minus 21 or 21 less strikeouts than he typically would have, which is actually the best clip out of all these players for strikeout differential. So he's managing not to strike out, so that's good at least. Batting average, 250. Honus Wagner. We're talking Honus Wagner at 250. Come on. Look at his career batting average, 328. That is a difference of .078, so not very good. So that's Honus Wagner. Hopefully he can turn it around. I expect he will. Let's move on to Ducey's Delights and their underachiever, top underachiever, and it is Mr. Willie Mays, this say hey kid. He was drafted 7th overall in the draft. Honestly, I would have taken him sooner. Willie Mays, incredible. MVP of the league last year. He was the MVP last year for the Short Porch Boys, Ethan's team. He was amazing. But this year, not starting out so hot. Very surprising. Just 2 runs scored. That's a differential of minus 86. That is the worst differential out of all these guys. 86 runs short. So he's not scoring runs. As far as hits, he has 10. The differential is minus 55 against the 162 average. That's not very good either. Walks, he has 7. This differential is plus 7, so we'll take it. Home runs, just 1 from Willie Mays. That is a differential of minus 24 pace right now on home runs. RBI, just 2. That's a differential of minus 78 in RBI. So power numbers not coming from Willie. Stolen bases, just 1. You would expect more from him. His differential, minus 6. So not terrible, but could be better, clearly. Strikeouts, 9. 9 strikeouts. That's a differential of minus 3. So actually that's 3 less than his average. So that's good. It's about even. Batting average, though, look at this, 208 for Willie Mays. 208. Compared to a 301 career batting average, that's a .093 difference. So, I mean, this is Willie Mays we're talking about. He's on the short list of top players of all time. So you expecting something way better than a 208 batting average. So hopefully he can turn it up and start playing better for Tony. Our next guy is for the good, the Vlad, and the ugly, Christine's team, and it is Jolton Joe DiMaggio. So this kind of happened to him last year as well, but he started very slow, and he's starting to turn it around a little bit. So he's on pace to do a lot better. Hopefully he can keep that up. He was a first-round pick as well, drafted 9th overall. He scored 6 runs so far. That's a minus 41 differential. Has a 130 runs per 162 is insanely good for a career average. Hits, he has 11 hits, but that's still a minus 44 differential because Joe DiMaggio hit machine, right? 4 walks, that's a positive differential of 30, plus 30. So that's good. 0 home runs so far for DiMaggio. That is a minus 34 differential. 9 RBI, that is a minus 10 differential. 1 stolen base, that's actually a plus 12 differential for DiMaggio. He did not steal many bases. So positive in the stolen bases. 3 strikeouts, that is 30 less than his average, so that's good as well. But a 256 batting average so far this year compared to 325, that's a minus 0.069 differential on the batting average. You would expect more from Joe DiMaggio. Hopefully he turns it around. Now for the Picklesburg Baseball Club and their underachiever, it is Barry Bonds. Now, Barry Bonds drafted 6th overall this year. He was 2nd overall last year. And honestly, if I had a 2nd overall pick, I would probably take Barry Bonds. If I had 3rd overall, I would certainly take him. I'm shocked he dropped to 6th this year, but he did. But he is kind of struggling. Last year, he was on the Pine Tar Bandits, and he actually tied for 2nd place in the MVP race. And he kept on getting early polls early in his career. And so when you get early career Bonds was good, but he wasn't nearly as good as late career Bonds, as what they call the steroid era Barry Bonds. So that was just, most of that was a result of bad luck, getting polls from very early in his career. A unseasoned, unneedled Barry Bonds. Well, it's happening again this year. Most of his polls have been from early in his career. So it's just up to random generation what polls get pulled. So maybe they'll get some, maybe it'll turn around. Who knows? Who knows? The law of averages say it probably should, but we'll see. Let's look at the numbers. 5 runs, excuse me. That is a minus 53 differential. 9 hits, minus 36 differential. 13 walks, though. And he always walked a lot. That is a plus 39 in the differential. Just 1 home run. That's minus 27 differential. 3 RBI. That is minus 67. 1 stolen base for minus 14 on that one. 6 strikeouts. That is actually 1 less than his 162 average. So that's about even. But a 231 batting average. That is a difference of minus 0.067. So not great numbers. Not not absolutely terrible numbers, but this is Barry Bonds in a 6th overall pick. So you certainly expect more from him than that. Let's move on to the doo-woppers. Their underachievers so far in the first third of the season is Lou Gehrig, the Iron Horse. Lou Gehrig, he was the 4th overall pick in the draft. And of course, amazing career numbers for Lou Gehrig. Absolutely amazing. What a legend. So far this year, he scored 11 runs, which is very good. That's a plus 32 differential. He has 9 hits, but that is at 9 hits, puts him at a minus 62. 12 walks, which is very good, with a plus 76. Plus 76. I should say, actually, his runs at plus 32 is the best differential out of all these for runs. And then his plus 76 for walks is actually the best differential out of all these players as well. Just 1 home run, though. That's minus 21 differential. 5 RBIs is a minus 70. 0 stolen bases, that's minus 8. 5 strikeouts, that's on pace for 20 more than he typically would have. And then a 237 batting average compared to a 340 career average. That is a difference of minus 0.103. That is pretty bad. Pretty bad. He is not living up to the batting average numbers by any means. So that's the underachiever for the doo-woppers. Next, we'll look at the Ghosts of Candlestick Park, and their struggling star is none other than, if it'll come up, it's hiding. It is hiding. Apologize. One moment here. Let me just fix this on the fly. So this one might be a little perplexing to some of you that he would be on here because his numbers so far, by all means, are not that bad. But this player is such a legend that you expect so much more from him. Sorry, I'm not going to delay anymore. Let me move on to the next one while we get that one figured out. The Quasi Quakers. Oh, that one's not pulling up either. It appears we're having an internet problem. Apologies here.
Okay. Let's bring it back. Here we go. It is Mr. Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth. Now, like I said, his numbers are not bad, but we're talking about the number one overall pick this year, the number one overall pick last year's runner-up for MVP, Babe Ruth. So you expect a lot out of him. Let's see what he's done so far. 8 runs. That's a differential of -17. 10 hits. That is a -31 differential. 10 walks. That is actually a +22. 4 home runs. So that comes out to 62 for 162 game average versus his compared to his 46. So that is a +16 differential on home runs. So he is, out of all these players we're talking about today, he has the best comparison on home runs. So he is hitting for power. 9 RBI, that is a -3. 1 stolen base, that is actually comes out to 8 more than his career average. Strikeouts 4, that is 24 less than his career average, so that's another positive. But batting average 286, that compared to a 342, ridiculously good 342 career average, is a -0.5056 difference. So again, not terrible numbers from Babe Ruth, but this is the first overall pick. These numbers are not going to put him in even the top, certainly not the top 10, maybe not even the top 15 in the league for MVP race. So you would hope Babe Ruth would turn it around. Now we will go over to the next team, the Quasi Quakers, and their underachiever is Albert Pujols, who was drafted second round, 3rd overall. He was the first batter drafted by Mark's team because Mark drafted in the first round, he drafted Walter Johnson. So Pujols is the main catalyst for this team offensively. So you need a lot from him in that way. He has 8 runs so far, which is actually a +19 clip. 8 hits is a -58. 8 walks, which is +48 on the walks, so that's good. 3 home runs is a +8 on the home runs. 9 RBI is a +18, so he's positive on the RBI, and that is actually one of only 2 players here that we're going over that has a positive RBI differential so far. 2 stolen bases. That is a +24. So he has the best stolen base differential with +24 pace. But 6 strikeouts, that is 16 more than he normally have, and just a 200 batting average compared to his 296 career average. That's a difference of -0.096. So of these people, I would say Pujols probably right behind Ruth as not doing that bad. Actually, maybe even doing better in some ways, but especially for a second rounder, not as big of a deal as Ruth. But still, when you have Albert Pujols floating around a 200 batting average and lacking in several of those categories, and like I said, he's the main offensive catalyst for this team. So we got to get more from you, Albert. We got to get more, buddy. Let's go on to Chuck Wagon fans, and their underachiever is Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle. Mantle has 6 runs so far this year. That's -27 differential. 8 hits. That's -48. 8 walks, which actually is -2. So he's one of the few here that have a minus walk differential. 3 home runs for a +7. 8 RBI for a +13. So he's putting in the power numbers at least. 0 stolen bases, though, for Mickey Mantle. That's a -10. 7 strikeouts. That is 14 less than his career average, so that's good. And just a 211 batting average compared to a 298 career average. That's a 0.87 negative difference for Mickey Mantle. For the OGs, their underachiever is Mr. Jeff Bagwell. Bagwell last year was ranked 7th in the MVP race for this exact same team, the OGs. He had him last year as well. Bagwell this year is a 3rd round draft pick, early 3rd round, 2nd pick in the 3rd round. So far, he has 9 runs, which is a +9. He has 11 hits, but that is a -24 differential. 13 walks. He's raking in the walks. That's a 71, +71 differential for walks, which is amazing. But 2 home runs, that's a -7. 4 RBI is -60. So really struggling in the power categories. No stolen bases is -15. 7 strikeouts, that is 21 less than his average, so that's good. 256 batting average so far compared to 297. That's a -0.014 difference. So Jeff Bagwell, I mean, he was a complete monster last year. Would love to see him do a little better this year so far. So far, he's not quite living up to it. Mosby Special, his underachiever. You saw him a lot in the intro. Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod. So, A-Rod, he was the first pick after the turn. So, Mosby had the last pick in the first round, the first pick in the second round. He took Jimmy Fox with the last pick in the first round. Then at the turn, he took Alex Rodriguez. 2 pretty good picks, honestly. But let's see here. Yeah, he's struggled. His power's been non-existent this year, but we'll get to that. So 5 runs scored, that's a -30. 8 hits, that's a -40. 4 walks at -8. 0 home runs for A-Rod so far. 0. That is a -40 differential for home runs, which is the worst out of all these guys. 0 RBIs this year. 0 RBI. That is a differential of -121. By far the worst differential out of these guys. Just literally non-existent power from A-Rod so far this year. He has contributed 2 stolen bases, which is +16, 9 strikeouts, which is 25 more than his career average pace. And then just a 229 batting average compared to a 295. That's a -0.066 differential. A-Rod is struggling. He's struggling. And Mosby Special could really use the good A-Rod. Let's move on to the Masters of the Diamond. This team is rolling, but one player, Mr. Mel Ott, has been underachieving quite significantly. And it's scary to think how good this team would be if Mel Ott was playing to his potential as well. He was their 2nd round draft pick. He last year finished 5th in the MVP rankings for Sasquatch, Brett Morgan's team. He was amazing last year, just start to finish, amazing. So it's surprising this year to see him struggling. He has 6 runs, which is a -30, 10 hits, but that's -37 because this guy accumulated so many hits in his career. 6 walks, which is actually -21 differential. So, oops. That is one of the rare people who have a minus in the walks. 1 home run, just 1 home run. That's a -17. 5 RBI is a -43. No stolen bases, -5. 3 strikeouts, which is good. That's 13 less than his pace, but a 238 batting average compared to a 304 batting average. That's a -0.066 difference. So Mel Ott also in the struggle bus. Would like to see him turn it around, but like I said, it'd be scary if he turned it around on this team that's already rather stacked.
Let's move on to $ hit machine and Mike Trout. Let's talk about Mike Trout. Dude, he struggled last year. Struggled. So you would think he would do great in this league because he is a current player. He hasn't had his declining right before retiring years. When he has had injury problems, but that's not a factor in this league. And when he does play, he's amazing. His numbers are great. So I don't know, other than just sheer blind bad luck, why Trout is not very good in this league. But last year he struggled. 233 batting average last year with just one stolen base. Really struggled. And he's continuing it on to this year. He was the first round pick for Hit Machine, 13th pick overall. So you're expecting first round pick numbers. Well, we're not getting them. 9 runs, that's a +6 differential, so we'll take it. 7 hits, though, -79 on the hits. 10 walks, which is a +35. Okay, he's taking walks. 3 home runs, which is actually a +2 differential in home runs. So he's popped a couple homers, which is good. 5 RBI is a -32. 0 stolen bases. Where's the speed, Mike? Where's the speed? Only 1 stolen base all year last year. None so far this year. That's a -22 differential. 11 strikeouts. That is actually, even though that's a lot, still 5 less than his pace because he strikes out a lot. But look at the batting average. 167 compared to 301. That is the worst differential out of all these guys, a -134 in the batting average. And he actually has the worst hit differential as well at that -79. 79 less hits than his career averages would be at this point. So I don't know what's going on with Trout. Can he figure it out? It's been a long-standing problem for him in this league, and it's mind-boggling, to be honest. We'll see. I'm pulling for him to turn it around. Would love to see it. All right, we're down to our last player, our last underachiever. Call him a bust. I don't know. He hasn't actually had a whole lot of playing time this year, and it is Sasquatch's favorite guy, Chipper Jones. Now, I felt Chipper Jones. Many people felt that Morgan reached for Jones. He got him second pick in the second round, so 2 picks after the turn. Pretty early for Chipper Jones, but he wanted him. It was his guy. He got his guy. Well, so far his guy is struggling. He has just 2 runs so far this year. That's a -44. 4 hits, which is -56. He has 4 walks, which is a +25. No home runs at a -30. 2 RBI at a -44. 0 stolen bases at a -10. 5 strikeouts, which is a +62 additional strikeouts compared to his 162 average. That is the worst strikeout differential of all these guys. That is rather terrible. He's really struggling. The 211 batting average compared to a 303 career average, which is a -0.092 difference. These numbers are bad for Chipper right now. I'm sorry, Chipper, but you gotta turn it around, bro. You gotta turn it around. This is bad. So there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll show you the overview. These are the underachievers for every team so far this year. Harmon Killebrew, Eddie Mathews, Mike Piazza, Honus Wagner, Willie Mays, Joe DiMaggio, Barry Bonds, Lou Gehrig, Babe Ruth, Albert Pujols, Mickey Mantle, Jeff Bagwell, Alex Rodriguez, Mel Ott, Mike Trout, and Chipper Jones. It's a who's who of legend and talent, like I said in the intro. But lots of red showing up on the screen, as you can see here. So some of these guys will turn it around. Some of them will not. We'll just have to stay tuned for the rest of the season to see who will figure it out and who won't. But thanks for tuning in today.
Hope you all have a good week. We'll see you this weekend for our stream with the results for week 6. Take care, everyone.